High blood sugar is one of the most underestimated health issues people face today, and it can be incredibly dangerous if left unchecked. When most people hear the phrase high blood sugar, their minds immediately jump to diabetes, and for good reason. Diabetes is one of the most serious and life threatening conditions linked to poor blood sugar control. But what many people do not realize is that long before someone is officially diagnosed with diabetes, the body begins to give away subtle, sometimes alarming signs that their blood sugar has risen too high. These signals often go ignored or dismissed, yet they are the body's way of warning us that something is wrong. In today's world, the problem has only become worse. Our diets are flooded with processed foods, refined sugar, artificial additives, and meals that cause sharp spikes in glucose levels. Because of these habits, the number of people who struggle with high blood sugar is increasing at an alarming rate. If we are serious about protecting our health, it is vital that we educate ourselves and learn to recognize the early signs our body gives us. By paying attention to these clues, we can take action before serious complications develop. So let's go through the most important signs that your blood sugar is too high and also discuss some of the symptoms that indicate you may already be on the path toward diabetes. These details may very well help you or someone you care about catch the problem early and make the changes needed to stay healthy. One of the earliest and most noticeable signs of high blood sugar is excessive urination, especially during the night. Now, it's normal to wake up once in a while to use the bathroom if you drank a lot of water before bed, but if you find yourself waking up frequently every night, it could be a red flag. High blood sugar increases the risk of urinary tract infections and puts additional pressure on the kidneys to filter out the excess glucose. As a result, your body produces more urine, and this leads to multiple bathroom trips even while you're trying to sleep. Another very common symptom is blurred vision. If your eyesight suddenly becomes blurry and then clears up later, it may not necessarily mean you need glasses. Often, this temporary blurriness is caused by high blood sugar. Excess glucose can cause the lens of the eye to swell, which changes the way light enters and disrupts your vision. If this happens frequently, it's worth paying close attention because it could be your body signaling that your blood sugar is too high. High blood sugar also has a strong impact on your ability to think clearly and concentrate. When your body lacks insulin, glucose cannot move from the bloodstream into the cells where it's supposed to provide energy. Without that energy, your body and brain don't function properly. This is why many people with elevated blood sugar feel mentally foggy, fatigued, and unable to focus. On top of this, high blood sugar levels often lead to dehydration because your body is constantly trying to get rid of the excess glucose through urination. That dehydration only adds to the difficulty in staying alert and focused. A dry mouth is another sign worth paying attention to. When blood sugar is high, glucose levels rise not only in the blood but also in the saliva. This creates a dry, uncomfortable feeling in the mouth and throat. If you experience this frequently, it could be more than just dehydration. It may be your blood sugar sending you a warning. For men, one of the consequences of long-term high blood sugar is impotence. This condition arises because uncontrolled blood sugar over time damages both the nerves and the blood vessels that are essential for proper function. It's a sensitive subject, but it's one of the most overlooked signs of blood sugar problems in men. Another signal of high blood sugar is recurrent infections. When glucose levels stay elevated, the immune system weakens, and the body becomes more vulnerable to infections of all kinds. Certain infections can keep coming back, and if this happens to you, it may not just be bad luck, it could be tied directly to your blood sugar. Slow healing wounds are another red flag. If you notice that even small cuts and bruises are taking far longer than normal to heal, that can be a sign of elevated glucose. High blood sugar damages nerves and reduces blood circulation, making it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach injured areas of the body. Because of this, the healing process slows dramatically, leaving you more vulnerable to infection and complications. Digestive problems can also occur. High blood sugar can delay the emptying of food from the stomach, a condition known as gastroparesis. This can cause bloating, abdominal discomfort, nausea, vomiting, and a feeling of fullness, even when you haven't eaten much. These issues may not immediately seem connected to blood sugar, but they often are. Constant fatigue is another hallmark sign. Your body needs energy to fight infections and perform daily tasks, but when glucose cannot properly enter your cells, you're left feeling exhausted, sleepy, or even depressed. High blood sugar simply drains your energy, leaving you feeling tired no matter how much you rest. Another obvious sign is constant thirst. When blood sugar is high, the kidneys are forced to work overtime to filter and absorb the excess glucose. To do this, the body pulls fluids from tissues, which makes you feel dehydrated and extremely thirsty. This leads to a cycle. The more you drink, the more you urinate, but the thirst never seems to fully go away. Dry, itchy skin is another indicator. Poor blood circulation caused by elevated glucose often leads to itchiness, especially in the lower legs. If you frequently have irritated or dry patches of skin, it could be due to blood sugar problems. Increased hunger is also common. For people who normally don't have a large appetite, sudden and persistent hunger can be a warning sign. This often happens because of a lack of a hormone called incretin, which helps regulate how quickly sugar is released from the liver after meals. Without enough incretin, food empties more quickly from the stomach, making you feel hungry again soon after eating. Excess abdominal fat is one of the most noticeable physical signs of high blood sugar. When glucose from food isn't properly absorbed by the cells to be used as energy, you feel hungry again, eat more, and your body stores the excess as fat, particularly around the midsection. This cycle contributes to weight gain and further increases the risk of diabetes. High blood sugar can also damage the blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to the nerves. This can lead to nerve problems, which often show up as tingling, numbness, or pain in the extremities. Over time, this nerve damage, known as neuropathy, can become permanent if not managed. Changes in the skin are another visible clue. Dark, thick patches of skin may begin to develop on areas like the back of the neck, the armpits, or the hands. These changes, known as acanthosis nigricans, are strongly associated with high blood sugar and insulin resistance. Perhaps one of the most concerning signs is persistent tingling or numbness in the hands, feet, or other parts of the body. This again is a direct result of nerve damage caused by prolonged high blood sugar. If you are experiencing this regularly, it should never be ignored. Now that we've gone through the signs of high blood sugar, it's also important to talk about some of the classic symptoms of diabetes itself. Diabetes develops when blood sugar levels are uncontrolled for long periods, and by the time it sets in, damage may already be taking place in the body. One major symptom is ongoing fatigue and persistent hunger. Normally, the food you eat is converted into glucose, which your cells then use for energy. But for this to happen, insulin must help transport the glucose into the cells. If your cells become resistant to insulin, the glucose can't get inside, leaving you drained of energy even though your blood sugar remains high. Frequent urination is another symptom. The average person urinates around 4 to 7 times in a day, but diabetes can cause this number to increase significantly. Because the kidneys cannot handle the high sugar levels in the blood, the body tries to flush it out through increased urination. Unexplained weight loss can also occur. Since your body loses glucose through frequent urination, you also lose calories. On top of that, when sugar cannot reach the cells, the body begins breaking down fat and muscle for energy, which can result in sudden weight loss even if your diet hasn't changed. Dry mouth is another common complaint. With so much fluid being used to flush out excess sugar, less moisture is available for the mouth and other tissues, leaving you feeling parched and uncomfortable. Blurred vision can also develop. When blood sugar levels are consistently high, the body pulls fluid from various tissues, including the eyes. If left untreated, diabetes can cause new blood vessels to form in the retina, damaging the eyes further and leading to long-term vision problems. Cuts and wounds that don't heal properly are another hallmark symptom. Poor circulation and nerve damage caused by diabetes make it difficult for the body to repair itself. Small injuries can linger for weeks, increasing the risk of infection and complications. Tingling and pain in the hands and feet is another classic diabetes symptom. Excess sugar damages nerves, leading to neuropathy, which often first appears in the extremities. Finally, dark patches of skin, particularly around the neck, armpits, or groin, can be a visible sign of diabetes. This is another case of acanthosis nigricans, and it's strongly associated with insulin resistance. According to the CDC, more than 30 million people in the United States have diabetes, with millions more undiagnosed. On top of that, over 33% of the US population has prediabetes, meaning their blood sugar is already elevated but not yet high enough to be classified as diabetes. The challenge is that many of the early symptoms are mild and easy to ignore. Unfortunately, by the time the symptoms become severe, significant damage may have already taken place in the body. Recognizing the early warning signs of high blood sugar and diabetes is one of the most powerful steps you can take to protect your health. Whether it's excessive thirst, frequent urination, blurred vision, persistent fatigue, or changes in your skin, these signals should never be ignored. The sooner they are recognized, the sooner you can make changes to your diet, lifestyle, and healthcare plan to bring your blood sugar back under control.